Yo, what up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. And today we're going to be reacting to another banger. Today we're going to be reacting to a little documentary on YouTube called Dan Schneider, A Scandal at Nickelodeon. If you haven't seen, there is a new documentary type of TV series that came out about the kid stars in Nickelodeon making accusations toward Dan Schneider. This actual documentary came out years ago. So we're gonna go ahead and watch it, man. I have not watched the documentary about the Nickelodeon yet, but I will, I'm sure, here shortly, because I was a Nickelodeon fan when I was younger, just like I'm sure everybody else was. So yeah, man, so before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe, man. We're at 270, we're trying to get to 500. Please make sure you share the video, man, and help me out. It doesn't cost you a penny. But yeah, man, without further ado, man, let's get into this little documentary about Dan Schneider.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And that's the big thing, huh? They talking about pedophilia with Nickelodeon.
By them when I was 14.
That's Dan Schneider.
Surrounded, literally. Didn't even know it. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me, till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
If you grew up watching Nickelodeon, then you may have heard of Dan Schneider. He was responsible.
Wasn't he also like the driving force for all that in Good Burger? Believe so.
Responsible for many of its hit shows during the 90s and 2000s.
Let me see. Drake and Josh, banger, Keenan and Kid. All those are bangers, man.
Such as The Amanda Show, iCarly, and my personal favorite, Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh was my favorite too.
Years, Dan has been brought into controversy due to rumors about abusive and possibly sexual behaviors between him and his young female co-stars. None of these rumors were grounded with any hard evidence, and most people dismissed it. Until March 26, 2018, when Nickelodeon announced that they will be parting ways with Dan Schneider.
You got busted, dog. No two ways about it. There's too many accusations.
The news surprised many people. Why would Nickelodeon fire one of its biggest producers seemingly out of nowhere? Were they aware of all the rumors and decided to finally do something about it? What is the Dan Schneider conspiracy?
Nobody's gonna tell me different that Nickelodeon wasn't fully aware. I'd be willing to bet he had people on his staff doing shit too. Foot fetish.
Sam, and we like to draw families on our toes. Observe. Okay, and that completes our 5-part series on toes with froze.
Now, I'm gonna turn off the camera using only the remote and the power of my toes.
Yo, a lot of this stuff you're probably not gonna have realized when you were a kid, but as you've gotten older, man, like the fact that he put a lot of this shit in here for kids' television shows, I'm sure is gonna be wild.
One of the most prominent rumors regarding Dan Schneider is that he has a thing for feet and uses his shows and their following to satisfy this fetish. You may be thinking, well, maybe he just finds feet and toes to be funny. And to be honest, some of the scenes by themselves are rather harmless and something that I can imagine on other shows. However, it's undeniable that there are a large number of feet-related puns and barefoot scenes in the shows.
Yeah, bro, no lie.
Here. Outside of television, there are some weird examples, however. In Victorious, Tori hosts an online show called Tori Takes Requests, where viewers can ask her to do all sorts of
I never got into Victorious.
In the very first episode, Tori gets a request to have ketchup poured all over her feet, and then she does a little dance at the end. In another online show called Cat's Random Thoughts, there's a moment in the first episode where she sticks her big toe in her mouth. I didn't really watch Victorious growing up, so I don't know if these played on television, but I do know that they were extras on theslab.com, a fictional in-universe website. Now, here is where things get even more unusual. On September 13th, 2013, the Salmon Cat Twitter page asked its followers to take a picture of their feet with the hashtag #SalmonCatSaturday. And a number of people did. This is just one of many now infamous feet-related tweets from Dan Schneider and his shows.
So they basically saying that Snyder had a foot fetish and he made sure he put it in all his episodes, basically.
But this is the most well known. You can find several if you look around long enough.
Whoa.
During the same year, there was a post on Reddit about how Dan Schneider is the most successful writer / TV executive in children's television for the last 30 years. A user commented, "I grew up in LA and was an extra on the Amanda Show a few times. He, being Dan Schneider, paid me $100 once just to tickle my feet." The user further elaborated,
Wow.
"To make a weird story short, in between takes, Dan asked me if I was ticklish, and I said no. Then he bet me $100 he could make me ticklish.
Whoa.
I was expecting him to reach over and tickle me under my arm or something like that, but he led me to his office. I basically got paid to receive a foot massage and a lot of compliments."
That's
The
pedophilia.
commenter later deleted his or her account. It's unknown who this person is, how old he or she was, or if this person was even telling the truth. A small YouTube channel known as Revenge of the Sis have done a number of videos about Dan Schneider, and during one of their podcasts, they received a call from an anonymous source stating that she went to an audition for one of Dan Schneider's shows. The call was quite lengthy, so for time's sake, I'll be playing a portion of what she had to say. The full podcast will be available below.
So in 1997, I was discovered in a mall, basically we would go on auditions just to different places, and eventually I got a manager and an agent who would send me on audition calls for, like little things like commercials and everything. And then as I started growing in my career, in 2007, my agent contacted me and my family about possibly getting a good Nickelodeon gig. And we flew out to LA for this audition. And when we got there, it was a bunch of kids, probably like 200 kids. And then these random agents hand-selected specific kids that they liked or, showed some charisma. And then once about 40 kids were selected, we were then told to take off our shoes and that we were each going to go into a room to show the producer, who is Dan Schneider, these tapes to see who we would want on the show. And of course, we always ask, like, oh, what do we have to do? Like, what would you like us to be doing once we're in there? And my agent told me, he's like, it's going to be like he's like, you got to just take off your shoes, just like run around in front of the camera, talk about how much you love being barefoot. And at the time,
he's wild, bro. He's wild. He definitely has a foot fetish, and he's definitely got a fetish with children.
and even, it was like, okay, that's weird, but I didn't think anything of it because I was still young.
Right.
My mom kind of looked around and was like, this is wrong.
Your mama should have said, hell no.
There's just something really wrong about this.
The parents should have said hell no, but man, when you thinking your kid's gonna taste that success, some parents just don't give a shit. The cost of it, basically, hey, whatever you gotta do, basically.
Because this person's mother decided to take her out of the audition,
Okay,
she's
hell
been
yeah.
blacklisted from the business.
Good for her. Good for her. Sexual abuse and behavior.
Hey, Dan Schneider. I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Fine. Fine. Look what you've done to me.
There are a number of photos
Was that Jeanette McCurdy?
circulating the internet.
Yeah.
Dan Schneider being a bit too touchy with his young child actors, some of which are a bit more uncomfortable to look at.
Whoa. On the lap, though.
Than others.
Oh my God.
There are stories of him inviting young actresses into his office and hosting pool parties during auditions.
So what would happen is that your parents would send you to sort of like this camp.
A camp?
It was basic acting classes, and it was an opportunity for the kids to get discovered. And interestingly enough, most of the kids got discovered by the pool. They had a pool, they had like tennis courts, and I believe like it was like Megan Fox and other female and Hillary Duff was another one who got discovered there at the pool.
Wow.
And they would push you to do
Wasn't Hillary Duff though Disney?
pool activities because they said that's where you have the highest chance of getting discovered.
Now,
understand?
what was the age range of the people that went to these at these camps?
The age ranges, the ones that I was familiar with, are ages 13 to 22.
Wow, bro.
In an article by Kira Davis from Red State, she writes, I happened to be chatting with a former child actor over a week ago. We were discussing Weinstein, and she told me that in her youth, she worked on one of Schneider's shows very briefly. She told me, my friend was molested by that man on set.
Damn.
Everyone knew it. No one said a word.
That's crazy.
In 2004, actor and producer Brian Peck was convicted of several accounts of lewd
Brian
acts towards
Peck.
a minor.
I wonder if he's related to Josh from Jake and Drive. Isn't Josh Peck in real life?
And was sentenced to 16 months in prison. Court documents reveal that several of these acts involved attempted sodomy of a person under 16, sexual penetration by foreign object, and
Foreign object? What you sticking in booty holes?
manipulation by anesthesia or controlled substance, just to name a few. The victim has remained anonymous to protect his or her career, but according to reports, the child actor was involved in the Amanda Show. After serving a sentence, Peck was released from prison and went straight back to working on kids
That's
shows,
crazy,
such
bro.
as The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
So my man jumped from Nickelodeon and went to Disney, bro.
This is because although he is prohibited from direct contact with children, that technically doesn't mean he's not allowed to work on shows that involve children.
I wonder where I'd wear
Loophole,
this.
man. He found a
Where's your
loophole.
fruit stand? You look like a lime.
So what does this have to do with Dan Schneider? Well, in a 2002 article titled Groomed to Be All That, it is revealed that Dan Schneider and Brian Peck would host comedy boot camps for Nickelodeon child stars,
That's
where they
crazy,
were
man.
allegedly separated from their parents. Really think about that for a bit. The guy that held boot camps for children was convicted and sentenced 2 years later for committing sexual acts with children, and then went straight back to working on children's shows. When asked if he had anything to say to the
Bro, he looks like a pervert, bro. He looks like a pervert.
child he abused, Peck responded with, I don't have any comment on it. I really don't. And this is the guy that Dan Schneider worked with for years.
Hey, man, you are who you surround yourself with, bro. You are who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself around negative people, you will be negative. If you surround yourself around positive people, you will be positive. You are who you surround yourself with, bro. If it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, it is a damn duck, bro.
According to Deadline.com, Dan Schneider was known for having temper issues. During a meeting with Nickelodeon executives, Dan was told that his show
So you got temper issues and you working with kids.
Game Shakers would not be renewed for a 4th season, leaving it on a cliffhanger ending. It was also reported that Nickelodeon's newest show, Cousins for Life, would move into the same studio that all of Schneider's shows were exclusively produced for years, and that Dan wasn't so happy about having to share space now. Perhaps the most absurd allegation towards Dan Schneider is that he is the true father of Jamie Lynn Spears' daughter.
Whoa. Is that true, though? I remember she got pregnant and they ended Zoe one-on-one.
Yeah, this is a little silly, but it does lead us
Okay,
to
yeah.
interesting. So I'm going to bring it up for educational purposes, just so you guys know. Jamie Lynn Spears, the star of Zoe 101, infamously got pregnant at 16 years old,
Yeah.
which resulted in the cancellation of the show. Crazy Days and Nights is an online gossiping website ran by an anonymous blogger known as NT, a self-proclaimed dialed-in entertainment lawyer. Supposedly, NT was able to predict certain scandals involving big-name celebrities, such as Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, on his website years before mainstream media caught on. Obviously, there's no way to verify this as accurate, despite the Daily Beast believing so. Regardless, there was an interesting post made by NT in October of 2007 saying, I don't even know how you define what list someone is when they are on some ensemble show watched by teens and preteens. So go with the above and make her a female. Make her pregnant, which is causing the producers to have a heart attack because they really don't need any more scandals. But wait, there's more. One of the producers, who was old enough to be her grandfather, shouldn't be having a heart attack because of shock, because he is the one who knocked her up.
That could be gossip though, bro. I would be shocked if it really is his kid, because you ain't heard nothing about it since this was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So
New boyfriends are being lined up as we speak. In December of 2007, just 2 months later, Jamie Lynn Spears announces her pregnancy.
crazy days and
Speaking
nights.
of crazy days and nights, visitors to the website are able to create accounts and comment on Auntie's posts, often attempting to guess which celebrity will be exposed next. One of these commenters, known as him, is believed to be Robert Downey Jr.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Golden Avenger himself. Where the hell did this come from?
That would be a plot twist if Robert Downey out here getting on Dan Schneider.
Well, most people came to this conclusion because of what him revealed about himself through his posts, such as having a troubled youth and nearly destroying his Hollywood career. Him also listed celebrities that he was friends with, including Jon Favreau,
It's a lot of guys.
Guy Ritchie,
Yeah.
David Kelly, John Hughes, Natasha Gregson Wagner, Brian Lord, Tommy Lee Jones, Susanna Hoffs,
Yo, this dude
Steve Martin,
really
Rachel
might be
McAdams,
Robert Downey.
Molly Ringwald, Miranda Cosgrove, and Susan Downey, Robert Downey Jr.'s wife. It's worth noting that him's complete list of celebrities included some that people were not able to find a connection to Robert Downey Jr., such as Neil Patrick Harris and John Hamm. Of course, there's no way to know for certain who him is, but what we do know is that some time ago, he had this to say about Dan Schneider. He's a monster, the worst predator alive.
They saying this is what Robert Downey said?
And if you wonder why nobody will confront or charge him, he's in charge of multiple hit shows for Nick, which rakes in oceans of money, tens of millions of dollars multiplied by many years and many shows, not to mention his merchandising royalties. So Viacom Nick warned him to cool it, then pay for his damn lawyers.
Damn. So Nick.
What about the parents?
So they saying Nickelodeon helped hide this shit, bro.
No tweener parent who shoved their kid into the limelight from birth is going to cross him either, and risk career suicide and loss of revenue and residuals in future career. No matter how bad it fucks up the kids, especially if there's multiple kid actors in the family, and the kids' agents are complicit too, just ask the Spears family. A lot of settlements get paid out of Viacom's accounts.
Departure and aftermath.
Finally, on March 26, 2018, Nickelodeon parted ways with Dan Schneider.
By damn time.
Nickelodeon's official statement was, following many conversations together about next directions and future opportunities, Nickelodeon and our longtime creative partner Dan Schneider / Schneider's Bakery have agreed to not extend the current deal. Since several Schneider's Bakery projects are wrapping up, both sides have agreed that this is a natural time for Nickelodeon and Schneider's Bakery to pursue other opportunities and projects. Dan was given a payout of $7 million upon his departure.
Wow, bro. You got paid $7 million to leave because you were a child predator.
He and his wife sold their home and currently reside in Hidden Hills, California. It's unknown if Dan Schneider is working on any new projects.
Shouldn't be allowed to work, bro.
So, is Dan guilty?
Hell
Did he
yeah.
abuse his young child actors? Well, no one knows for certain. As you may have noticed, there is actually no concrete evidence against Dan Schneider. No celebrity has spoken out, and the ones who did have kept their
Until recently when they came out with the documentary.
identities private or are anonymous. So, for all we know, they could be lying. The closest comes to us from Noah Monk, the actor who played Gibby on iCarly, from the official podcast. But even he was hesitant on defending Dan.
I was sort of, I mean, if that shit went on, I'm fucking like, that's devastating to me because I don't see him in that light, you know? So watching clips on YouTube and shit of that is like crazy. But I mean, the foot fetish shit is like, okay, bro, come on. Like, I never really noticed that when I was 15 on the show, but
you're not gonna notice it when you're 15, bro. That's what they're trying to say. Like, you're gonna more notice it along the lines of when you were an adult, and notice that they put in these kind of things slickly while you were a kid. That's the whole problem.
of course, looking in retrospect, it's like, okay. No, I don't know. No, and I never observed, like, saw anything like that or got hints of that. So it's fucking, it might be baseless rumor, but I don't want to speak. Like, what if some shit comes out? I don't want to be like on record being like, no, you know. So I have no clue.
That's why you shouldn't have spoken on it, big dog.
Rumors and accusations have existed for a while, but nobody really said or did anything until Nickelodeon separated themselves from Dan. It was only then that people started growing concern. Why would Nickelodeon fire one of their biggest producers just out of nowhere? Were they aware of
Because they finally found out that they can't cover his ass no more.
something? Many people point to this event as evidence that Dan must be guilty, but I beg to differ. I think it's worth mentioning that Dan's shows have been seriously declining in ratings. iCarly's pilot episode got 4.1 million views. Their most viewed episode, I Saved Your Life, got 11.2 million views.
Damn.
And their least viewed episode, I Battle Chip, got 2.4 million views. Victorious' pilot episode got 5.7 million. Their most viewed episode, Begging on Your Knees, got 6.1 million. And their least viewed episode, The Hambone King, got 2.39 million, so not that bad. Skipping over Sam and Cat since that show finished.
I don't even know what Henry Danger and Game Shakers is.
Henry Danger's pilot episode got 1.94 million views. Their most viewed episode, Hour of Power, got 3.16 million, and their least viewed episode, Saturday Night Lies, got 1.05 million. Game Shaker's pilot episode got 1.98 million views. Their most viewed episode was the pilot episode. And their least viewed episode, Escape from Utah, got 0.52 million views.
Damn.
It seems as if the Schneider style just wasn't working anymore.
Well, a lot of sitcom things like that don't work no more. Like, I love sitcoms, but like George Lopez and shit like that, but there's just not sitcoms like that. They just died out.
Is it not more reasonable that Nickelodeon saw this trend and fired him because of it?
Could be. I mean,
I don't want to dismiss any of the people that have investigated and spoken out against him. I mean, with this many rumors and allegations surrounding Dan, it's just kind of hard to ignore it. And it's not like this hasn't happened before. In 2004, a man known as Jason Handy used his job at Nickelodeon
my man's name's Handy
to lure young child actors. He was arrested
Handy.
and sentenced to 6 years in prison for molestation and possession of child pornography.
Damn.
And after serving his time, he was released and went straight back to working on Nickelodeon.
Bro, how do they allow that?
Hollywood is one of the most unsupervised, unrestricted industries in the world. The promise of fame and fortune can be so alluring to young and upcoming actresses and actors that they and their families are just willing to do anything. Once you become a public figure, everything you say and do will be held against you. Which is why if some actor or actress in the industry was abused as a child, they'd probably rather say nothing and not risk their career. You can't change the past, so might as well keep making money. I think the most we can definitively say about Dan is that, at the very least, he finds feet entertaining, and that's not a crime.
No lie,
but who knows?
Still, bro.
Maybe someday
it's not just the feet thing. It's, oh, this guy was associated with him. He got arrested for this, and he got to work again. Or this guy got arrested for pornography and also molestation from Nickelodeon. He gets to work for Nickelodeon again. It's a whole principle to the thing, bro. It, like I just said earlier, man, you are who you are who you surround yourself with. So
actor or actress will speak out against Dan. Maybe concrete evidence will be found, and maybe something will be done. I suppose we'll never know.
Oh, we finna find out. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming through, man, watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, man. This really kind of messed my head up because I was a real big Nickelodeon head when I was young, bro. I love Drake and Josh, all that. The Amanda Show, Keenan and Kel. iCarly I thought was good, man. So it's really sad when you seeing all these things, you know, come forward that you didn't think would be going on, man. It's really sad for the victims. And I really want to, you know, say I apologize to all those people that had to go through that. I mean, I'm sorry for them. I really am. But yeah, man, comment down below what you thought. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Road to 500. We'll do another one of these. I'm gonna start watching, I think, try to watch some of the documentary series and maybe comment on what I think of it or something. But yeah, man, until next time, man, like always, y'all, peace. I'm out.